Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing a book review of Death in Her Hands by Ottessa Moshfegh. I didn't have much expectations for this book because I went into it quite blind. I saw it in Brick Lane bookshop and the cover just drew me in because it's quite different and I was in the mood for a murder mystery. I also spoke to the bookshop employee and they had read some of the author's other work, Eileen, and they said that it was really good. So I felt like I got the green flag from someone that the author was good. So I had good expectations, but at the same time I wasn't really expecting anything because, yeah, like I said, I hadn't done any research about the book beforehand. So within this review, I'm going to quickly go over the plot, my thoughts and feelings, and then the book's very subjective. So I wanted to see if other people felt the same way as me and had the same theories about what was going on, because yeah, there was at times where I felt like I'm guessing a lot, but I think that's the point of the book. The plot follows Vesta, a 72-year-old woman who isn't new to the area. She's been there about a year since her husband passed away, but she's still known as kind of like an outsider, a newbie there. And it's a typical morning for her walking her dog, and she comes across a note on the floor that says, "Her name was Madge, nobody will ever know who killed her, it wasn't me, here is her dead body." And then the story just follows Vesta trying to work out this murder mystery, like who is Madge, where is her body, who wrote the note and left it there, because this woods is right next to her house. And then who is the killer? Now getting into my thoughts and feelings about the book. Disappointing. And I hate saying that about the book. And I gave this book so many chances. I nearly DNF'd it twice and I pushed through to the end. But that ending, come on. It left me so frustrated and it made me feel like I wasted my time on this book. Getting into the reasons why. It's a slow burn whodunit, but it's painfully slow. It lacked gripping elements, and then when it tried to draw me in, it just fell flat. And one of the main reasons for that, I think, is the writing style, because it's very long paragraphs, really short sentences, and the whole book is just a ramble, like continuously rambling, to the point where Vesta will start a thought, but then not finish it and move on to another thought. And then like 3 pages down the line, the thought that we started with will get brought up again. So overall, that ruined the pace and the flow of the book. So I wasn't invested. Maybe that was the point, because we're following Vesta's internal monologue and she's very frantic throughout the book. However, it's so random. So it makes the reader be like, what's the point? Why am I reading this? Now, talking about Vesta, she was written to be unlikable and she had very negative viewpoints. Like, she was fat phobic, she was anti-abortion, she was a bit racist, and it made it hard for me to feel bad for her. Definitely in terms of the fat phobic and anti-abortion, it was so much. It wasn't just once, it wasn't just twice, it was like 3 times. This is why I nearly DNF'd the book. The 3rd time abortion was brought up, I was like, why am I finding this out? This is not progressing the character, it is not progressing the plot. Why am I reading this? Which then annoyed me, but I did still carry on and I did finish the book. Now, I did feel bad for Vesta at times because she's lonely. You're kind of drip thread throughout the book that her marriage wasn't actually that nice and her husband Walter was horrible. He had infidelity, and I think she had some pent up regret and dislike for him in the end. I think she realizes it throughout the book how much she didn't like her husband. She's also very anxious, and I did feel bad for her in that regard, but because of the repetitive negativity and horrible views, it made it hard for me to feel bad for her. And I think that's why the book fell flat. So without saying any spoilers, I don't know how much more detail I can get into because it is just Vesta, the whole book. It spans over 3 days. And yeah, without spoiling anything, it's very anticlimactic for me. And I just was left feeling I didn't like the MC. I didn't feel like I got anything out of the book. In the end, I felt like it was a parody of a whodunit, which was meant to be a bit humorous, but it just missed the mark. Now, I've seen some reviews online and I think a lot of people felt the same about Vesta. I think the author was trying to get a point across, but it just never delivered. And I'm saying this because I know that this author is known for writing different women and not in the same old category, and that it's meant to be a bit uncomfortable. However, that's why I wanted to look up people's opinions, because I was thinking, is this just how this author writes and it doesn't gel with me? But fans of her work felt the same. So I don't know if it's the book. I personally wouldn't recommend it. I gave it a 2 out of 5. And the reason why I gave it a 2 was because I did push through to the end. So it wasn't so unreadable I couldn't finish it. And there were moments where I got freaked out. But again, then it fell flat. So it was disappointing, which is why it is a 2. I'm going to be getting into the theories now, so you can continue on with the video, but beware of spoilers, because I'm definitely going to be saying what happens at the end. So yeah, proceed, but with caution if you haven't read the book. So, regarding theories, Vesta 100% wrote that note at the beginning. Like, I think she was projecting her own life and her own feelings onto Madge because she was so lonely, and she was thinking, what would happen to me if I died randomly in this town, in the woods? No one's actually going to know. Even if they did know, no one's going to care. Will they even find me? And yeah, I think she was lonely. I don't know if she was, I think she was mentally ill. I don't know if it was old age, but I didn't feel like it was old age. I really do feel like something was wrong with her, as in she was forgetful. Maybe she had dementia, because why I do feel like she wrote the note is in the end scenes, she finds kind of like a first draft of the note she finds at the start, and it says something different. It says, where is it? Her name was Madge. She died and there is nothing you can do about it. I didn't. And there it stopped. How could it get in her house, the first draft or a version of it, if she didn't write the original? So I think she left it out there, God knows why, forgot about it, and then it went into this frenzy of panic and trying to solve this whole made up murder, basically. And another thing that why I think it's that, and what supports it, is she uses people in the town that already live there and who have lived there for years, who we don't know about until she comes across them. So she's using characters from the town in her story, and I feel like she projects herself in Madge, and she comes up with these scenarios about Madge going through like bad relationships and being forced into sexual situations, and she even kind of does a parallel between Walter, her husband, and Henry, who is a man she makes up sleeping with Madge kind of forcefully, and she even sets that parallel there. So I think she's just resenting her husband and just basically making it all up, which in the end I felt so frustrated at. But there are some different theories and stuff out there, so I'm just going to quickly go through them. So I found them quite interesting. One of them was they thought Madge was dead, and this was her subconscious, because it kind of speaks of consciousness throughout the story. However, I feel like that is not true. I did feel like she could be dead at one point. However, once you read on, you just knew it wasn't possible. Someone agreed with me. The plot was a way of telling Vesta's own life story. I don't know, maybe she wanted to write a book or something, and then she just forgot about it. I don't know. This is what I mean. You're just left with so many questions. Another thing was Madge was a real woman killed by either Walter, her husband, or by Vesta taking revenge on Walter's infidelities, because you find out in the book that Walter had quite a few affairs and she found this out after Walter died. Could be plausible, but I don't think that's true. I think that's too far-fetched, actually. One was Vesta has been experiencing lapses of consciousness. I think she wrote the original note herself, kind of similar to what I think. Another is Vesta is senile, has an eating disorder, cancer, and is a drunk. So all of this happened to her. I don't agree. I don't think we learn enough about her in just 3 days to call her a drunk and having an eating disorder. Bear in mind she's 72, so she wouldn't eat much anyway. And then she drinks 1 bottle of wine on the last night in the book. So I wouldn't call that an alcoholic. I mean, who hasn't drunk a whole bottle of wine one night? Do you know what I mean? And it says she has a glass of wine a night, and I don't think that's an issue. And then on the second night of the book, she doesn't even have any wine. She has coffee. So I don't agree with that. And the last one, which I think is absurd, and it's about Charlie. Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. But it says Vesta was secretly abusing Charlie and forgot that she was abusing him due to her mind being senile, or she is getting blackout drunk, so she's forgetting all of it. And this is why Charlie turned on her in the final pages. I do not agree with this. I don't feel like we know enough. We don't get enough information and time with the character to judge this, I don't think. And I don't see much abuse in the book. I know it says secretly abusing him, but she's kind of going more insane as the book goes on, and she doesn't want to feed him properly, so she does feed him like not correct dog food. Again, that's only 1 night. She leaves him for longer amounts of time, but again, that's just 1 day. So I don't really agree with it. I think Charlie turned on Vesta because she was behaving erratically. She left him alone for long periods of time. He managed to get out, kind of ran away, but only for like a day. When he came back, she was in that black bodysuit, like that dark bodysuit that she randomly bought at the library. Again, so random. Why? I guess why is because we needed the ending to be the ending. But he came home. It said in the book she hasn't washed for like a week. Obviously, we know she's fainted. She's walked for miles. She hasn't been sleeping right, so she's probably smelly. She's not behaving normally. And now she's in this full to body black suit that literally makes her camouflage with the night. And he's probably seeing her as a stranger, an intruder. And then when he finally comes back in the house, Charlie, she sneaks downstairs like an intruder, shuts the door, trapping him in. And then she's behaving weird. She's staring out the window thinking someone's looking at her. She's got the knife in her hand. So I don't blame Charlie for being like, who is this stranger, like crazy person in my home? And then goes to attack her. In all honesty, I actually feel like it would have been better if Charlie ended up killing Vesta. It would have been a more satisfying ending than what we got, which was her writing a new note about her dying, flapping it in the air saying, God, take this. Bear in mind, she said she didn't believe in God throughout the whole book. And then saying, I'm going to camouflage into the night in a whole bodysuit and no one's ever going to find me. And I blend in perfectly. And then the book ends. Are you having me on? Like, I feel like her buying the suit, the darkness suit, I wrote down as being, why is she doing this? This is so random. And it was all because the end, maybe she was planning her death all along, but subconsciously. I don't know, but it was just so random and disappointing. Ugh. Also, so many things unanswered, as in, how did Charlie get out? We know she shut the door. She might not have locked it, but the door was shut. How did Charlie get out? Who took her note when she re-left the note later on in the book? Did it just fly away in the wind, or did someone take it? Were the stones in a bee making her think Blake has taken the note and then reorganized the stones? Or was that in her mind? We don't know. Why were the neighbors so freaking weird? They were acting so odd. Definitely if an elder lady, a 72-year-old, passed out on your property, you would be nice. And that husband was just a freaking weirdo. I'm perplexed. And I just ended this book so frustrated. Felt like I wasted my time, as I've already said. So many questions. But yeah, first book of the year. Not a great start, but I'm glad I went through the experience, and I'm still going to read Eileen, her other book, because I want to give this author another chance. And then if that book doesn't hit, it's a DNF author for me. If you have read this book, please let me know your thoughts. Am I just missing something? I don't know. If you have any other theories, or if you agree with what I've said, also let me know. So yes, first review, full review of the year done. Hopefully the next one's better. So catch you in the next one. Bye.